XRP is again making waves like never before. Get it? It's in the name. Ripple effect. No? Okay, let's face it. XRP is garnering more haters than ever since its plummet during the SEC lawsuit. But that's not the problem. Now, will XRP jump back to a new all-time high, or will it fall? Guys, I firmly believe that Ripple and XRP will hit a high price soon. And I mean real soon. What's more, I have my suspicion that it will happen over a single night. Yep, that's right. What's up, guys? Welcome to Money Side, where we let the money do the talking. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get up-to-date crypto news. Right now, let's get down to business. I decided to take a minute and show some love to my fans today, so I'll try and answer a few questions before getting down to the video. That said, thank you, Duncan Leroy, for your breakdown. And I do agree with you. XRP is a good coin for the long term and not for anyone short-sighted. Anyone who's here for a short period will likely not make a lot of money. But for people like me who are in it for the long term, we'll get to enjoy substantial profits when the coin rises. Again, patience is the key, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Thank you, ML The Voice, for the wonderful compliment. I'll always ensure you get the best videos every day. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with the subject at hand, XRP. Guys, the SEC refused to release documents on how they came up with the idea that Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities. What did I tell you? I smell a rat, and soon enough, the court will reveal what the SEC is trying to hide, or this entire court case will be dismissed. There's a chance that the SEC will retract their lawsuit, and that will lead to a settlement. Yes, you heard that first from me. But who knows? Anything can happen, especially when it comes to the SEC. The regulatory body is trying to mount a case, yet they don't have any actual evidence. In fact, Ripple should be suing the SEC and not the other way around. The SEC is grasping at straws. That's why they've requested for the case to be on hold for now. There's a high chance that the SEC is running out of ideas and excuses to give the court regarding the private communication documents on Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's not wrong for us to assume that some biasness is going on, especially when it concerns cryptocurrencies. In this case, I believe the SEC didn't know that the Ripple team will fight back with such an approach. This is an actual real-life example of a phoenix rising from the ashes. Jackie tweeted that XRP will go from a settlement, relisted, and then take off, which is a beautiful deduction of the current XRP state. We've all heard the news that there might be a settlement plan for XRP and the SEC over the recent lawsuit, which I must say could conclude this long and tedious court case. Yes, it's been quite dull, I must add, not because watching the court proceedings isn't that entertaining, but because the SEC sounds like they didn't prepare adequately for the proceedings. The regulatory body is one of the most significant parts of the government, especially for crypto and stock traders. They help safeguard the financial markets for investors in general, but this lawsuit was a bad call, and I'll keep on repeating that. The SEC has all the right to come at any cryptocurrency with actual evidence that there was a breach of laws in their sale or whatever. But when it comes to Ripple, they didn't prepare well enough actually to have the chance of winning this case. Yes, we might try our very best to convince ourselves that Ripple Labs actually committed an offense that is subject, but let's wait and see what's next for this lawsuit. However, if everything goes as planned, we might see a settlement soon, then relisting, and then the price goes to the moon. If you haven't invested in XRPs, buddy, it's now the right time to try our luck before the ship sets sail. Another tweet that also caught my attention was this one by Digital Asset Fund. He says, "The tide's turning, and soon the waves will just be ripples." I think the SEC is out of its depth, and XRP's legal clarity will be established soon. Late September, latest. And I must agree with him. Truth be told, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. And I think that is what is happening with XRP. Once they make it out of these troublesome times, the company will be way stronger and better. And for sure, the entire crypto world will be behind the coin. I mean, Ripple is the bridge currency we've all been anticipating for its arrival. Since its launch, the company has forged partnerships with some of the most prominent financial institutions in the fiat market. Those partnerships are crucial for the merger of these two worlds. Aside from that, the company went above and beyond to create an enticing package for the world's central banks. In truth, it's among the first cryptos to do that and have a winning chance, creating a network Where banks can incorporate low-cost transactions across borders is the icing on the cake. Which bank wouldn't want that? Above all, the private ledgers in the network give banks that much-needed security. So far, a few world banks are already on board with RippleNet's mission and have started working with it to incorporate the cross-border connection. Ripple Labs has a solid mission that no entity can stop them. If they lose their court case by any chance, all they have to do is register their tokens as securities in the US. However, from my perspective, I believe XRP will be traded as a crypto to the rest of the world. That's because the SEC only has jurisdictional rights in the United States and not beyond that. Ideally, the best move in the case happens is that Ripple Labs will have to move their headquarters to another friendlier country, and at the end of the day, the loss will be the US government. Other countries, such as China, are ahead of time with their incredible adoption of the 5G network. This was the one chance that the US had to catch up to China and possibly overtake it. But this happened. As much as the SEC is exercising its rights, I think that this was a terrible idea because US citizens will lose in the process. I mean, let's think of this idea logically, outside of the confines of the laws and all that. Why would you go for a cryptocurrency that's trying to merge two worlds together instead of leaving them to destroy each other? If the fiat and crypto worlds are left to exist differently, one of them will be wiped out of existence, and the apparent winner of such a battle will be the crypto world, thanks to its frameworks, financial benefits, and simplicity. Right now, it's pretty hard to go to a bank and ask for a loan, and even if you do get it, the interest might be pretty high. That's different from some of the packages you can get in the crypto world, which is why most people are so into cryptos. It gives the commoner a chance to try out different financial packages and generate income in the process. Yes, banks try to reach small businesses through small business loans, but the interest rate is still high. Aside from that, we have significant advantages when it comes to the crypto world. So if you think that cryptos are merely a fluke that will go away soon, you're dead wrong. Decentralized blockchain technology is here to stay, and the sooner the governments embrace it, the better. Guys, I saw this coming. The SEC could face monetary sanctions if they continue to remain uncooperative. This article was published on financefeeds.com, and we are about to see a heated battle between the SEC and the court, not Ripple, which is ironic. The never-ending saga between the SEC and Ripple has now taken a new route. The motion to compel the financial watchdog to hand over the documents follows a back and forth between the two parties and Judge Netburn. The SEC continually has refused to hand over the documents. Despite that repeated instruction, the SEC persists in refusing to search an obvious repository for responsive evidence on external communications, the defendant said. The SEC has requested for an extension of 60 days, which seems like they are trying to stall the case and avoid unveiling the truth behind their lawsuit. Then listen to this. It should be noted that the judge can order monetary sanctions against the Securities and Exchange Commission or even dismiss the case altogether should the plaintiff remain uncooperative regarding the ordered discovery. A dismissal, however, is highly unlikely at this stage. On that note, let's take a look at the technical analysis because things are about to skyrocket soon. Currently, we are looking at the weekly perspectives. First, the 1 through 5 labels are not Elliott wave. They are there to support the price movement comparisons. I was questioned on how XRP's price could go higher with regard to the lack of volume. So I am displaying a fractal comparison with Link, which provides not only a price fractal, but a volume fractal as well. And you can clearly see that the volume came in at the appropriate time in order for Link to thrust higher and challenge its previous all-time high. Also note that Link went on to achieve much higher highs on some rather lackluster volume. If we look at the Bitcoin chart in the 4-hour time frame, we talked about this pattern that was forming a lot, and now it is time to see the direction of the market. In this analysis, we want to talk about this, that when the rise or fall is expected after breaking trend lines, or the answer is clearly the breakout of the trend line. Blue one, or the black one, is the first confirmation of direction, but as you can see, there are some local resistance and support mentioned on chart. Breaking those are second confirmation, and volume that will increase is a third sign for the market that is going to say hello again and start a new wave. We expect a breakout to the upside with more possibilities, and today is the last day that price is bounded on this pattern. Best wishes to you all. As always, trade safely, guys. Remember, we are not a licensed financial advisor. All the videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Please let us know what you think in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like this video and to click on your subscribe button below. Turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks as always, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.